Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. I was a little excited and a little nervous to find out that a solid release fragrance that's a quick reach dumb grab, always has been, Polo Red, was going to come out with a new flanker called Polo Red Eau De Parfum. I was excited because it could be great, a little nervous because it could be terrible. I would settle for a happy medium at this point, so when we return we're going to do an unboxing, a comparison, that and more, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. So in 2013, Polo Red came out. Now, later on they decided to add it to a concept line of 3 fragrances that were inspired by speed, adrenaline, and seduction. This one here is the adrenaline side of it, invigorating, energizing, and I have to say they did a really good job of imbibing those particular qualities into the fragrance. This is something that I like to wear when I'm riding a motorcycle. In fact, if you go back in my videos and watch the first impressions of this, it was actually a review, my bad. So if you watch the review talking about it in conjunction with my motorcycle, riding, it's always just been one of those quick reach fragrances when you just feel like working out, riding a bike, just something where there's dynamic movement. So I will say they did a good job of that. Now the other one that they're referring to in terms of speed was a fragrance that I don't have, but I have tried it out and I wasn't supremely actually impressed by it, and that is Polo Red Brush. A Red Brush was an okay fragrance that had a lot behind it, ended up being rather tepid in terms of performance and the fragrance, the smell itself, so it wasn't supremely impressive. Instead of breaking it up into 3 fragrances, which I guess you could call that extrapolation marketing, they could have just done it in one and called it Sex on a Roller Coaster. And that would be the name of the fragrance, Sex on a Roller Coaster, because you have speed, adrenaline, and seduction all in one fell swoop. I should have been in marketing, right? But the new Polo Red Eau De Parfum suggests that it's going to be a darker, deeper, richer, because what they're saying, at least on the poster anyway, of the comparison of the 3, according to our chart here, Polo Red Eau De Parfum is going to be the next level in sophisticated intensity. And so its primary attribute is the rich woods, and its mood is one of seductive and sophisticated. So we get those 2 words thrown around a little bit. In terms of men's fragrance, seductive is something that of course is alluring, and usually that, at least in terms of women, is something that's gourmand. It's a little bit darker, a little bit richer. It doesn't seem like that's going to be something that's in this. The original Polo Red, this guy had some coffee berry in it, so it does have like a mild or slight coffee flavor or background to it, which is not in itself wholly gourmand, because this is definitely not a gourmand fragrance, but I'm thinking maybe that it will tip gourmand in this, and that way I would understand the whole seductive. Sophisticated just means that it's mature. It's a fragrance for mature. It's got a level of complexity where you can break apart the notes, and lends itself to being dressed up as well as being dressed down. Now, instead of just talking about it, let's go ahead and get into the box. We'll take a look at that presentation, and of course we'll do a strip test and a skin test. So as for the Polo Red Eau De Parfum bottle and presentation, it's exactly the same as the other Polos. I don't know the problem with Ralph Lauren, but it does seem like that it's hit or miss most of the time. Now, Polo Red Extreme is a wonderful fragrance. It's still running right around 70 or 80 bucks, depending upon where you find it. I think on fragrancex.net right now, you can get a tester for around 70 bucks, I believe, which is a little bit high for just a standard designer fragrance, but Polo Red Extreme is great. It, to me, deserves the spot that they're putting this one in terms of sophisticated intensity, rich woods and allure, and it definitely has some other flavors to it that make it more accessible, more usable, I believe. Let's go ahead and get into the juice and see if it doesn't deserve that spot and maybe even more, or if you want to save your money and spend it on something else. That's really what we're here to determine today. So let's go ahead and spray it on a tester strip. I already sprayed it during the presentation. First of all, I'm not really happy with the Atomizer. The other Polo Red didn't do that, so it's like they changed companies that were creating the Atomizer. This one kind of sprays out. It's got like a wide spray array. It doesn't like hone in on a particular spot. So it's really hard. You want to get it up close, and it doesn't spit too much juice. For the price that you pay for this, which is right around $100 right now, that Atomizer is definitely not one that should be on a $100 bottle of fragrance. This one is one of those fragrances that it should be called red herring because it's hard to determine the notes, and the reason it's hard to determine those notes is because there's a lot of synthetic vibes in this. So right out of the bottle, right off the top, I'm getting a lot of synthetic aroma chemicals in this, which that can be off-putting or it can be pleasant depending upon if it's linear and specifically honed in or focused on one accord, you know, like let's say a coffee accord, that would be great. But that's not the case here. There's a lot of jumbled up notes going on and in an aroma chemical way. Clearing the passageway and trying it again. Wow, I am really not impressed. This is an aroma chemical mess. I hate to say it. It's the first time I've ever used that phrase or said that on my channel. I'm really disappointed that I even have to say this, but if I can save you guys some time and money, most specifically money, I want to do that. Now, in all fairness and playing devil's advocate, this of course is a first impression. My thoughts on this may change, but with my experience in fragrance, straight out of the bottle being this synthetic, yeah, at least on the strip. Now, let's see if my opinion changes when we move it to skin, get some warmth in there to lift it, and get mixing with the body's oils, because that often changes the perception of a fragrance. It often changes the body of a fragrance. So let's go ahead and try that out. I don't have anything on my skin. Let's talk about this fragrance smell for a moment. Let's go through the notes really quickly. Now, according to our chart, this has rich woods, clary sage, and ginger, and that's fine. That's just 3 notes, but there's obviously more in here than that. So in the top, you've got ginger, red grapefruit, and cranberry. In the mid, you've got lavender, clary sage, cistus absolute, and elemi resin. In the base, you've got guaiac wood, cedar wood, benzoin, apopanax, and musk. The problem with Polo Red Eau De Parfum is it really seems like someone just slapped it together. First of all, its release. Did you know that this was released? I didn't know. There was very little fanfare. There was no little, if to any, advertising for it. It's almost like one of those fragrance releases that just comes in under the radar. Well, the fragrance companies have a quota that they need to meet. Obviously, there's a specific cyclical time that they want to release fragrances. I don't know if that might have been the case for Ralph Lauren, and they're just like, let's go ahead and write out another Polo fragrance. Just write me the ticket. I'll throw something together. Boom, we'll throw some Limbadol in there and call it Rich Woods. We'll throw some aroma chemicals in there. Apopanax has kind of a like soft, warm, sensual feel to it. Elemi resin is like a pine lemon scented fragrance. You combine certain ones of these qualities, almost has like a coffee. But there's no coffee note in this. Absolutely no coffee note. There's absolutely no note in this to give it any kind of rich standing, any kind of complexity or depth whatsoever. This is an absolutely linear aroma chemical mess. It is a linear aroma chemical mess. I'll say it again twice because I want to embed it into your mind today when you're watching this video that I really don't care for this at all. First of all, the fragrance itself is extremely generic and derivative of a standard blue fair out there. This has the smell of a low dollar fragrance. It honestly smells like a quick $20 to $25 grab. It does not smell like the price point that it currently is because it's brand new, but Polo fragrances typically don't drop all that much in pricing. So right now, Sephora.com, 99 bucks. Other places you might be able to get it between 76 and 100 bucks. Definitely do not pay that for this. So I don't want to leave you in a quandary though. If you're wanting something like what you were hoping to get in Polo Red Eau De Parfum, thankfully there are some offerings out there that won't leave you wanting, that will smell great, that will do what you want it to do, that it'll do what the chart says that it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be sophisticated and seductive, right? It's supposed to be alluring. It's supposed to have that mood to it, that kind of like seduction, that allure, that promising a good time. That's what's supposed to be in this bottle. That's what it's supposed to be. It is not. It is not. However, if that's what you want in a fragrance, if that's what you're wanting, I highly recommend something like along the lines of Azzaro Wanted by Night. Azzaro Wanted by Night is an amazing, rich, deep, dark, slightly resinous, complex fragrance. Now this one will have an amazing performance, and it's not all based on aroma chemicals. There's some really good notes and accords in Azzaro Wanted by Night, and it's one of the best date night staples, date night fragrances around. If you're wanting something a little bit more sophisticated and that is more along the lines of what Polo Red Crush was supposed to be, that idea of speed and adrenaline, then Prada Carbon might be a better offering at a definitely lower cost. Azzaro Wanted by Night, definitely a lower cost. And if you were hoping to get more of a slightly gourmand coffee note in this, like something like Polo Red Extreme, you could get Polo Red Extreme. If you're wanting something on the way down cheaper scale, like in the between 20 and 30 bucks, then I would recommend Rojas Man. Rojas Man is a nice lavender / coffee centric fragrance that is long lasting, and the quality is great for the money that you spend, and you'll definitely be a lot happier with it than you will be with Polo Red Eau De Parfum. So unfortunately, I had every reason to be slightly nervous. This is not good at all. Honestly, I wouldn't even put it on a scale of good. That is it is an aroma chemical mess. Probably the best phrase that I can use to describe it. Kind of sad because I don't know what's going on with Ralph Lauren as a house. They really need to pick up the slack and release something that's of really good quality along the lines of Crest, along the lines of Red Extreme, just something out there that's going to be really good and set themselves apart a little bit. Unfortunately, Polo Red Eau De Parfum is not that fragrance. So save your money, spend it on something like Azzaro Wanted by Night, Prada Carbon, or even Prada Luna Rossa Black, or on the lower scale, Rojas Man is a good offering as well. Well, that's it guys for my quick first impressions and unboxing of Polo Red Eau De Parfum. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. If you've got this fragrance and you've tried it out and you like it, please let me know what you feel. If you had other experience with it other than the one that I've described here, please share that with us in the comments below. And if you have a Ralph Lauren favorite in the Polo line, please let us know in the comments as well. Again, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.